You have to be an entertainer. You have to be colorful. You have to tell stories. You gotta be funny. You gotta win people over, and you gotta win women over. And nowhere, in any state I travel, are there many women at libertarian events. Because I aim everything I do at my wife, Deborah, who's this wonderful woman. But you know what? She's not a souled libertarian. She's a Christian and a conservative who leans libertarian. And everything I do is aimed at her, and we can win them over by the millions. Independent voters now number more than Republicans or Democrats. Did you know that? More. And in polls, you know what they say? They trust the Tea Party more than Republicans or Democrats. Why aren't they at our meeting? Where are they? Maybe we're being a little too extreme sometimes. Maybe we sound a little too radical. Maybe we're too pure and we're the purest police. We got to let people in who are leaning libertarian and explain this philosophy in a way that makes them go, wow, I never knew it, but I'm a libertarian. I've done it on Republican conservative talk shows all over the United States. And you know why? Because Republican conservatives hate government. So there's a way to win them over by talking about economic freedom. And then on the social issues, I say, here's the deal. I'm not asking you to like gay people. I'm not asking you to like people that use drugs. I'm not asking you to like gamblers. I'm not asking you to like assisted suicide. But on social issues, what I'm telling you is, don't give the power to government, because you'll make it big government and they'll use the power against you. You don't have to like someone, just stay out of their business. Just don't worry about what someone does in their own bedroom. And after that, Republican hosts are going, holy Christ, I want you to run for president of the United States. All over the country they say it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're changing things little by little. But the last thing I'll say is, because I believe in incremental success. I believe it's better if California approves medical marijuana than if you try and fight for legal heroin in the whole country, because it ain't gonna happen. It's never gonna happen until you first prove in one state into an attractive menu item that is the biggest seller in the United States of America. Thank you, God bless.
Wayne and Ernie, would either of you like to take a couple of questions?
Yeah, whatever
and
they
in
want
fact,
to
I have one for Wayne, but Ernie can comment on it too.
Right.
Wayne, I hear this rumor that one day you might want to run for president of the United States.
Correct.
And in fact, that you might have been interested in running for that 2 years ago.
Yes.
And in full disclosure, I'll say that I voted for Mary 6 times, but,
okay.
but that's okay. Nevertheless, if you're interested in running for president, then how do you have the time to be CEO of the Libertarian Party? And then Ernie will answer that after.
My answer, which I put in print on numerous occasions, is number one, at this moment, I really do not expect to run for president in 2012. I do think that 2016 will be a great time for me, after I first have built an organization that can win elections. That gets us what Ernie says he doesn't want, a seat at the table. Don't you guys understand? Without a seat at the table, you're a powerless nothing. You've got to have a seat at the table. You have to. That's why in 39 years, we've never gotten anywhere. We don't have a seat at the table. I want that seat. But I have no plans to run in 2012. But if I did run, if I was dragged kicking and screaming by millions of people who said, you're the guy, I would absolutely take a leave of absence as your CEO, or if you want me to, resign, and then come back in 2 years. Because you can't do both. It's a conflict of interest. I understand that. I've said that publicly. But at the moment, I think it's worthless at the moment to run as president for the Libertarian Party ticket, because there's no organization anywhere in the country. How do I know that? I ran for vice president and I experienced it firsthand. You need thousands of volunteers to work their little butts off and to give you checks, and we don't have that yet. I'm planning to change all that.
Thank you. Ernie, do you want to address?
You know, fortunately, we have a really good example. The one thing that's interesting is that you had the Constitution Party as, you know, wax and wane. You had the Natural Law Party had 50 state ballot status. You had the New Alliance Party in '92 had 50 state ballot status. You had the Green Party. You have all these parties that come and go, but the Libertarian Party stays. Why? What makes it different? For decades, over and over and over, that the Libertarians have a core that stays. That very reason, that very core, that very sustainability of a philosophy is what Wayne wants to do away with. And he thinks that it's going to expand more. It's going to, if we appeal to more, that's what all these others always said, Wayne. They all said that.
they were pathetic. Pathetic candidate.
I agree, because that's what they said. And the thing is that we have a Libertarian Party that has been a stalwart of in general, of a principle. You look at what's going to happen. He goes around the country and he doesn't see the support. He doesn't see the numbers. He doesn't see the excitement. He doesn't see that, and I don't know where you guys have been for the last few years, but I saw it. It was called the Levolution. And it was from people that it didn't even matter. They keep focusing on Ron Paul. I never focused on Ron Paul. I had nothing to do with his campaign. I refused to register Republican. I had many opportunities to join the campaign, get a salary, get hired, go be part of the Campaign for Liberty. There's all kinds of opportunities for the guy that came up with the Levolution logo, okay? But I knew better. It's another collective. Libertarianism, what was behind that. It was the message that gave it its power. It wasn't a 73, even though it was the fact that Ron Paul was very good at articulating the message. Ron and I are friends. I don't have a problem with Ron, other than he's Republican, But the thing is that really, he's Libertarian. So when you're talking about where is this power, where are the women, where is the money, there wasn't enough freaking money spent on that thing. 40 million went into the campaign. Probably 2-3 times that outside by individuals. You're always going, where is it going to come from? Where is my... I go, be libertarian. Be libertarian. Don't be afraid of being a libertarian. And since we've had the internet, since that really started to hit in 2002, in 2002, if you were running for office and you didn't have a webpage, you weren't really a candidate. 2002 is when really everybody had to have a webpage. Since that time, at the peak of libertarian membership, the peak of the money coming in, the peak, they thought, man, we're going to ride this, we're all going to get rich, we're all going to be executive directors, we're all going to get jobs in the state, and then people started going, oh, they got clean elections, we'll compromise just a little bit, we need mother's milk, man, we need all that money thing, and we'll compromise just a little bit so we can get that money. When that stinking thinking started is when the Libertarian Party took a nosedive. Principle every single time.
Let's take some more questions.
Can I say something real quick?
Well, let's take a couple more questions, Wayne, if that's okay.
I'm just chomping at the bit to say something.
I know.
Wayne, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm Ron Stevens from the Queens LP. We've tried your Big Tent philosophy in Queens, and it's very successful. We sponsor, our chair sponsors tea parties on his own. We're the ones who form the meetup groups, John Clifton and I, to try to expand support for Ron Paul. Very successful. On a national level, I have to ask you this question. I sent it to you by email. I didn't get a response, so I'll ask you here.
Right.
There seems to be a movement to lower the allotment of delegates allowed to affiliates, to have fewer conventions, to have a conflict of interest rule to kick people out of the party if they are involved in other parties, whereas here in New York we cross-endorse Halloran and others. And even motions at the convention floor, there's a proposal to allow 20 people to have to stand up to second a motion. All of these are efforts, in our view, in Queens, to minimize participation, to lower the amount of delegates, to lower the amount of people involved. And I'd like to know your position on that. Do you want to build the party into the structure that we have? What's your view? And also mandatory registration fees, another issue too, that would exclude participation. And Queens is concerned because we're very Big Tent. We just cross-endorsed 3 Republican candidates running for Assembly who came to us for our endorsement. And we have Halloran, the second largest elected person.
Boy, do you have the right guy, because the one thing I didn't tell you all is that my background. My mom and dad were 2 of the founders of the New York State Conservative Party. They answered an ad in the newspaper in 1962 that said, if you think Republicans want too big a government and you hate Rockefeller and Javits and you think they're rhinos, come found the new political third party. And my parents answered the ad. And I was there as a little kid throughout the 1960s and 70s and walked up and down stairways and handed out literature, ran for office at the age of 21, by the way, youngest candidate on the Republican ticket in the history of New York State in 1983 for a major office, county legislature, and almost beat a 25-year incumbent in an all-black district running as a Republican who walked every single house and every single apartment building. But the point of my story is that my parents helped elect James Buckley, conservative United States Senator, state of New York, third party. You don't believe we can do this?
You didn't answer the question. He asked you